Here's a secret most women don't know: when men fantasize about sex, it's not just about the position, it's about the feeling the position gives them. Yes, men crave excitement, intensity, and pleasure, but the positions they secretly beg for are the ones that make them feel not only aroused, but connected to you, completely consumed by you. Because here's the truth: sex for men is part physical, part psychological. The way you look at him, the way you move, the way you let go, it all combines to make certain positions unforgettable. Today, I want to reveal the 5 sex positions men secretly beg for, and more importantly, why these positions make him crave you long after the moment is over. When most people talk about sex, they talk about the mechanics, what goes where, how to move, which positions are the most exciting. But the truth is, what men secretly beg for in the bedroom has far less to do with the mechanics and far more to do with the experience you create for him in those moments. See, men might not always admit this out loud, but what they really crave in bed is variety, intensity, and intimacy. And the positions they fantasize about aren't just about pleasure, they're about the emotions those positions awaken inside them. Because while sex is physical, great sex is psychological. It's about how a position makes him feel powerful, desired, vulnerable, connected, obsessed. Think about it this way: if sex were only about the physical release, every man would be satisfied with the most basic routine. But why is it that certain memories, certain moments, certain positions stay with him long after they happen? It's because those experiences touch something deeper. They tap into his primal instincts, yes, but also into his heart, his ego, and his longing for intimacy. The positions men beg for are the ones that give him more than just physical satisfaction. They give him an emotional high. They make him feel like he's experiencing you in a way no one else has. They make him see you as playful, confident, sensual, and deeply connected to him. And that's why today we're not just going to talk about the positions themselves, we're going to talk about the psychology behind them. Because when you understand not only what men crave, but why they crave it, you'll know exactly how to turn a moment of intimacy into a memory he can't stop replaying in his mind. Cowgirls, you on top. When a man thinks about sex, one of the most vivid fantasies that plays in his mind again and again is the moment when you're on top of him, completely in control. This position, cowgirl, isn't just about physical pleasure for him, although that part is undeniable. It's about something much deeper. It's about the way it makes him feel when he sees you take charge, when he sees you owning your body, and when he feels your energy radiating from the confidence you show. For a man, there's nothing more intoxicating than looking up and seeing the woman he desires most moving with freedom, with sensuality, and with the kind of unapologetic expression of her own pleasure that tells him, I'm not here just to please you, I'm here to be pleasured. You see, most men are so used to the narrative that they have to be in control in bed. They feel pressure to perform, to lead, to drive the rhythm. So when you climb on top, it's not just a change of position, it's a change of psychology. Suddenly, he doesn't have to think, he doesn't have to guide, he gets to surrender to the experience of you. And that surrender, believe it or not, is one of the most erotic gifts you can give him. Because in that moment, he feels not just aroused, but chosen. He feels like you wanted him enough to take charge of your own desire. But it doesn't stop there. From his perspective, this position is the ultimate feast for the eyes. He gets to admire you, your face, your curves, your movements. He gets the full visual fantasy of watching a woman he desires losing herself in pleasure right in front of him. It's not just about penetration, it's about the show. And here's the thing: men don't just want the performance of confidence, they want the reality of it. They crave the woman who is so in touch with her own sexuality that she can move freely, playfully, without self-consciousness. When you're on top, he's not just thinking about how amazing it feels, he's marveling at the way you let yourself go. This is why, if you want to truly drive him wild, it's not about rushing. It's about teasing. It's about starting slow, letting him feel every inch, leaning in close to whisper something in his ear, then pulling back to lock eyes with him as you move. It's about switching between tenderness and intensity, between slow, grinding motions and bursts of passion that make him completely lose control. That contrast, the unpredictability, is what keeps his mind obsessed long after the moment is over. Another reason cowgirl makes men beg for it is the feeling of vulnerability it creates in him. In this position, he's exposed in a way he isn't in others. He can't hide. He can't dominate. All he can do is give himself over to the experience of you. And while he may not say it out loud, Vulnerability turns him on because it makes him feel safe enough to let go. It gives him the permission to just be in the moment, to experience sex not as performance, but as connection. So yes, men beg for cowgirl not only because it feels incredible physically, but because it speaks to something far more powerful. It shows him your confidence. It lets him admire you. It allows him to surrender. It awakens both his primal desire and his longing for intimacy. And when you embrace this position, not just as a way to give him pleasure, but as a way to fully express your own, he won't just beg for it. He'll beg for you. Doggy style, the primal fantasy, if there's one position that men will almost universally admit drives them absolutely wild, it's doggy style. On the surface, it seems obvious. This position is primal, it's raw, it's physical. But when you peel back the layers, you realize why men don't just want it, they beg for it. It speaks to some of the deepest instincts inside him, both as a man and as a lover. Doggy style taps into that raw, animalistic side of sex that he might not always show in everyday life. Most men walk around holding back, being polite, professional, restrained. But when he's with you, he wants a space where none of that matters. This position gives him that outlet. It allows him to feel powerful, dominant, unfiltered. And whether he admits it or not, every man wants to feel like he can completely lose control with the woman he desires. But here's what many women don't realize. Yes, he loves it because it gives him that sense of dominance. But at the same time, it also gives him the gift of being able to admire you in a way he can't in other positions. In that moment, he sees all of you, the curve of your back, the sway of your hips, the way your body moves in rhythm with his. For him, this isn't just about penetration. It's about the visual feast of being able to take you in fully, to watch you, to marvel at the beauty of your body in motion. And here's the psychological kicker. Doggy style isn't just about him being in control. It's also about the trust you give him in that position. When you allow yourself to be taken like that, you're silently saying, I trust you enough to let go. That vulnerability of giving him access, of surrendering in a way that leaves you exposed, makes him feel deeply connected to you. To him, that's intoxicating. It's proof that you're not just physically with him, but emotionally with him too. Now, the best way to make this position truly unforgettable isn't by letting it become a routine. It's about turning it into an experience. If you move your hips in ways that surprise him, if you look back over your shoulder and lock eyes with him, if you moan his name with genuine abandon, you elevate the whole moment from physical pleasure to psychological obsession. Because now he's not just thrusting, he's connecting. He's seeing you not as a passive partner, but as someone who's engaged, playful, and just as hungry for him as he is for you. And here's something else that makes doggy style one of the most begged for positions, the fantasy element. Every man has at some point fantasized about taking a woman he's crazy about in that raw, almost primal way. It's not about degrading, it's about passion at its most unfiltered. When you let him have that fantasy with you, you're not just giving him pleasure, you're giving him a moment that he'll never forget. Doggy style, at its best, is a mix of two things, intensity and intimacy. Yes, it's raw and powerful, but when you add the right touches, reaching back to hold his hand, guiding his rhythm with your body, letting him hear how much you're enjoying it, you remind him that even in the most primal moments, there's still deep connection. That's what men secretly crave. They want to feel like they can go all in with you, unleash that animalistic passion, and still come away feeling more bonded, more obsessed, more addicted to you than before. That's why doggy style isn't just a position. It's a fantasy, a release, and a connection all rolled into one. And when you give him that, you'll understand why this is something men don't just want, they beg for it. Missionary, but with eye contact, most people hear missionary and instantly dismiss it as boring, predictable, or too basic. But the truth is, missionary, when done with the right kind of intention, can be one of the most powerful and emotionally bonding experiences you'll ever share with a man. And here's the secret ingredient that turns it from ordinary to unforgettable eye contact. When a man is on top of you, his body close to yours, your legs wrapped around him, and your eyes locked on each other, something magical happens. It's not just physical anymore. It's emotional, spiritual, primal. He doesn't just feel your body, he feels you. And that depth of intimacy is something he'll beg for again and again because it gives him more than pleasure. It gives him connection. Why is eye contact so powerful? Because it creates vulnerability. For men, especially, vulnerability is rare. Most men go through life wearing masks, appearing strong, confident, in control. But when he's on top of you, inside you, looking directly into your eyes, those masks fall away. For a moment, he feels completely seen. And that feeling is addictive. It also reassures him. When you keep your gaze on his, you're silently telling him, oh, I want you. I trust you. I'm here with you. That level of presence hits a man harder than any dirty talk or bedroom move because it confirms his deepest need, to feel chosen, desired, and accepted as he is. And don't underestimate the power of the small details in this position. The way you touch his back, the way your nails graze his skin, the way your lips part as your eyes stay locked on his, those subtle signals drive him wild because men are not only visual, they're emotional processors through visual cues. Your eyes become the mirror of his performance, his worth and his place in your heart. That's why eye contact makes this position unforgettable. Now let's talk about rhythm. In missionary with eye contact, the pace matters less than the connection. It can be slow and sensual, where every thrust feels like an unspoken declaration of love. Or it can be urgent, passionate, almost desperate. But even then, the eye contact holds it together, making it feel like more than lust. It feels like desire with meaning. And that's what men crave most. Here's another layer during eye contact. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, floods both of your systems. This is why missionary with eye contact often feels so intimate that it borders on emotional vulnerability. Many men, even those who claim they don't do feelings, can't help but get hooked on this because their body literally associates you with comfort, safety, and intimacy while experiencing peak pleasure. That's a recipe for obsession. And let's be real, this isn't about being overly serious. Eye contact doesn't mean you can't smile, laugh, or tease. In fact, a playful smirk or a sudden giggle while you're locked together can make the moment even hotter. It shows him that sex with you isn't just about intensity, it's about authenticity, fun, and freedom. So when a man begs for missionary with eye contact, he's not just asking for a position, he's asking for intimacy. He's asking for you to let him see into your soul while he's inside your body. He's asking for sex that leaves him not just satisfied, but changed. And that's why this so-called basic position is actually one of the most unforgettable experiences you can give him. Because when you combine the physical closeness of missionary with the emotional power of eye contact, you're not just making love, you're creating a memory that stays with him long after the night is over. Reverse cowgirl, the ultimate visual fantasy reverse cowgirl, is one of those positions that men don't just want, they fantasize about it constantly. And the reason goes far beyond the obvious. Sure, it feels incredible physically, but what makes it truly irresistible to him is the combination of visual stimulation, psychological excitement, and the complete unpredictability of what you'll do when you're in that position. It's the perfect blend of mystery and control. And that's why men beg for it. When you turn around and straddle him facing away, something shifts in the dynamic. He doesn't have the full control he normally has, and that alone is thrilling. Suddenly, he's not leading the rhythm, you are. He can't see your facial expressions fully, which drives him wild because it forces him to imagine what you're feeling. That element of mystery, the not knowing, makes him crave it even more. Men are deeply visual creatures, but when you deny him the full view of your face, you create an erotic tension that keeps his mind racing. He's imagining your eyes closed, your lips parted, the look of pleasure across your face. And the fact that he can't quite see it makes him want it 10 times more. From his perspective, this position also gives him one of the most exciting visual angles he can experience. He gets to admire the curves of your back, the sway of your hips, and the way your body moves in complete freedom. From it's a masterpiece in motion, like watching art come to life. And unlike regular cowgirl, reverse cowgirl feels almost like a private show. He's not just participating, he's an audience to your sensual expression. That sense of performance, even if it's just for him, makes him feel chosen, lucky, and completely mesmerized. But here's where it gets even more powerful. Reverse cowgirl allows you to experiment in ways that surprise him. Slow, grinding motions that tease him to the edge. Sudden bursts of intensity that make him gasp. Playful movements that keep him guessing. The unpredictability in this position is what makes it unforgettable. Because when you're unpredictable, you're unforgettable. Men remember the moments where they didn't know what was coming next, where they had to surrender completely to the ride. There's also a deeper psychological layer to this position. For him, reverse cowgirl is symbolic of you being in your own world of pleasure. You're not doing it just for him, you're doing it for you. He sees you take charge, moving in ways that clearly bring you satisfaction, and that sight is addictive. Men don't just want to be turned on, they want to be inspired by your arousal. They want to feel like they're watching a woman so unapologetically in touch with her own desires that she doesn't hold back. That raw authenticity is what makes him obsessed, not just aroused. And if you really want to make this position unforgettable for him, it's about mixing the physical with the psychological. Throw in those little teases, lean forward to intensify the angle, look back over your shoulder and lock eyes with him, let out a sound that tells him he's driving you crazy. Those moments anchor themselves in his memory. They make him replay the scene in his mind again and again long after it's over. Reverse cowgirl isn't just a position men beg for because it feels amazing. It's because it creates the perfect storm of mystery, visual pleasure, and psychological surrender. He feels like he's watching something he shouldn't, like he's been given front row seats to your deepest expression of desire. And when a man feels that way, he doesn't just want more of the position, he wants more of you standing shower wall. There's something about the standing position. Whether it's in the shower, against the wall, or even in the heat of the moment in the living room, that men can't stop fantasizing about. It's primal, it's raw, and it's one of the most powerful ways to ignite his instincts as a man. When you give him this experience, it's not just sex, it's a memory he replays again and again because it awakens a side of him that feels bold, strong, and completely alive. For men, standing sex taps into a very instinctual fantasy, the idea of taking you in the heat of passion without overthinking, without planning, without any barriers. It feels spontaneous, like desire just took over. That element of urgency is what makes this position so intoxicating. Men love the idea of being unable to resist you, that they wanted you so badly they couldn't even wait to make it to the bedroom. It validates his attraction to you on a primal level. There's also the physical aspect. In the standing position, especially if he's pressing you against the wall or holding you in the shower, he gets to feel dominant, powerful, like he's in charge of both the rhythm and your body. But here's the deeper truth. While it may look like he's in control, what he actually craves is your surrender in that moment. The way you let your head fall back, the way your body molds to his, the way you trust him to take the lead. Those subtle signals of surrender are what drive him wild. This position also awakens his protective instincts. When he has you pinned safely against the wall or lifts you with his strength, he feels like he's not just your lover, but also your shield. For men, sex is not only about pleasure, it's about identity. And in standing positions, he feels like he's embodying that strong, masculine role that both excites him and reassures him. It's not just about him doing something to you, it's about him proving to himself that he can handle you, cherish you, and keep you safe all at once. And let's not ignore the sensual backdrop of the shower. For him, the mix of water dripping over your skin, the way your body glistens, the heat of your curves pressed against the cool tiles, it's a sensory overload. Men are visual creatures, and the image of you wet vulnerable and in his arms in such a raw environment is the stuff of lasting fantasies. The combination of roughness and intimacy, heat and wetness makes it unforgettable. But here's the twist that makes standing sex truly powerful. It's not about perfection. In fact, it's the opposite. The awkwardness, the fumbling, the laughing when you both nearly slip in the shower. That's what makes it memorable. It's real. It's passionate. It's a reminder that desire doesn't have to be staged or flawless. It just has to be authentic. And authenticity is what men actually crave most. What he imagines in this position isn't just the act itself, it's the passion behind it. He imagines you pulling him in by the shirt, your lips demanding his, your body showing him that you need him just as much as he needs you. He imagines the moment when neither of you could hold back anymore, when the world fell away, and it was just the two of you locked together. That's why men beg for the standing position. It's not only about the thrill of doing something different, it's about the passion, the spontaneity, and the rawness of giving in to each other completely. It makes him feel like he's living in the kind of moment people write novels about. And when he has that moment with you, he'll replay it for the rest of his life. At the end of the day, these 5 positions aren't just about novelty, flexibility, or bedroom acrobatics. They're about psychology. They tap into 5 of a man's deepest needs: his need for visual stimulation, his need to feel desired, his need to feel powerful, his need for closeness, and his need for passion that feels too urgent to resist. When you give him these experiences, you're not just checking boxes of what men find hot. You're speaking directly to his emotions and his instincts at the same time. You're creating a cocktail of pleasure, vulnerability, dominance, intimacy, and raw passion that makes him not only crave you physically, but also feel deeply bonded to you. Because here's the truth, great sex isn't just about bodies, it's about memory. It's about creating moments so intense, so unforgettable, that he replays them long after the lights are off. That's why these positions matter. Not because they're exotic, but because they give him an experience he can't stop thinking about. And when you become the woman who gives him both the thrill of passion and the warmth of intimacy, you become more than just another lover. You become the woman he compares every other experience to, the woman he feels addicted to, the woman he doesn't just want in his bed, but in his life. So my challenge to you is this: don't just do these positions, own them. Bring your confidence, your playfulness, your authenticity into the bedroom. Surprise him, drive him wild, make him feel things he didn't even know he craved. Because when you do that, you won't just be the woman he begs for tonight, you'll be the woman he never stops begging for.